The following program was produced by the United States Courts.
Hello, and welcome to On Topic, where we talk about the programs, the issues, the events, and the people shaping the federal judiciary. I'm Jackie Koschek with the U.S. Courts. Every June, we celebrate Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Pride Month. This is an opportunity to reflect on the history of the civil rights movement of LGBT citizens. Today, we're talking to Judge Elaine Kaplan of the Court of Federal Claims. Judge Kaplan, welcome to On Topic. Tell us, in your experience, what are some common myths and misconceptions about the LGBT community?
When I first came out of law school, for example, I think many people thought they didn't know anyone who was gay, or lesbian, or transgender, or bisexual. There were probably myths about the so-called gay lifestyle, about what gay people do, about the differences between gay people and heterosexual people. And I think that over time, as more people have come out and as people have realized that their brothers, their sisters, their sons, their daughters, their parents, their friends, their colleagues, their fellow judges are gay, it eliminates the myths, because we see then that the so-called gay lifestyle is just the same lifestyle as everybody else's lifestyle. The only difference is the person that you love, really.
Why, in your view, is it important to have members of the LGBT community serving on the federal bench?
Diversity is always important to give people role models, and because I actually do believe that decision-making benefits from having a diversity of viewpoints and a diversity of experiences. I just think it's helpful for the same reason that coming out generally is helpful. And there are lots of very talented people, talented judges who happen to be gay or lesbian or transgender, and so it's kind of crazy not to take advantage of that talent pool.
What was your personal experience like?
I came out in my third year of law school, so this was about 1978, and it was a very different time. There was a lot of negative stereotyping. People were disowned by their families. People lost their jobs. And so this was not something that you took lightly, coming out. And to this day, even, when I say come out, I think people misunderstand. They may think that means, oh, I have to go up to someone and say, by the way, I'm gay. I have to come out when I go to the supermarket, when I had small children, go to the supermarket with my kids, and somebody would say, well, what is the father? Who's your father? Or to the kindergarten teacher, I'd have to explain, no, there's two mothers here. So that's coming out, and that's a process that takes many years and kind of never ends. But it's okay, because I think that as a result of people coming out and just gritting their teeth and doing that, I think that the views that people had of gay people many years ago, when I first came out in the late 1970s, have kind of changed, because they see that we're the same as you are, same as everyone else is.
Would you describe some of the work you did on LGBT issues in the course of your career?
I got to OPM in March 2009. Really, my greatest degree of involvement with legal issues involving the gay community occurred when I became the general counsel at the Office of Personnel Management, because the Office of Personnel Management was the defendant in a number of the lawsuits that were challenging the Defense of Marriage Act. And I was the openly gay general counsel, and the director of the agency was also openly gay, so there was some irony there. But we did manage to find ourselves really in the right place at the right time.
OPM, as you mentioned, sets personnel policies for the over 2 million civilian employees of the executive branch of government. Tell us what changes you were involved in as a top official of that agency after the Supreme Court struck down the Defense of Marriage Act in the landmark Windsor decision.
After the Windsor decision was issued, I actually was, at this point, had now become acting director of OPM, a position which I served for about 6 months before I came to the court. And so I was the acting director, and we had sort of had it in our minds that there was at least a decent chance that the Supreme Court was going to find DOMA unconstitutional, just sort of based on reading the tea leaves at the oral argument. And so we had already started to work on what we needed to do in order to implement Windsor as quickly as possible, because there were people who were waiting for health insurance coverage and had been waiting for a number of years while the litigation worked its way through the courts. So we came up with a plan, and literally within days after Windsor was decided, we rolled out our plan to start taking enrollment forms into the FEHB for same-sex married couples and to extend survivor benefits.
In 2009, President Obama proclaimed June as LGBT Pride Month. What do you hope people take away from this relatively new national observance?
I think that it may be that after a time we'll progress to a point where we don't need to have a special day. And I guess until that day comes, it's probably a good thing to raise people's awareness about the issues, some of the issues of discrimination that are still faced by LGBT people, and also, I guess, to give people, especially younger people, an opportunity to see the history of this. Where did it start? Where are we now? So I think that's helpful, but there's a piece of me that kind of hopes that the observance will someday not be necessary at all.
Thank you, Judge Kaplan, and thank you for your years of service and for being a role model for so many people. I'm Jackie Koschek with the United States Courts, and that's On Topic.